Hey everyone, we're finally ready for launch. Took forever, but we crossed thresholds we never realized that we could, and we tied so much of the system together. Everything here goes uphill. Just we keep tying more things together in a common sense kind of way. Let me show you real fast an example of where we are so you can understand the scope. Um, let's talk about how fast it takes to convert a professional template to our environment that we can automatically use. And that's a big deal because we always get questions about modern templates, different templates, things like that. Well, if you're going to do a bunch of websites, you want to use modern templates, but we also need to make those templates that are totally professional and modern fit with the latest, most professional and modern version of our system. See, everything that we used to have a year ago doesn't work with GPT-5, right? Doesn't work with Grok, doesn't work with Anthropic Claude Desktop or Claude Code at all. And so we have to, go new with everything. Let me just show you an example of what that's like. Even ThemeForest has over 15,000 HTML templates. Okay. So this is the kind of inventory we can grab from. So if we went over here to ThemeForest, we could look up a term like roofer. Okay, I did this for a roofer recently, so I'll just use that example. Roofing, here's a template, 17 bucks. We can preview it. Here's another template, 9 bucks. We can preview that. Another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. Which one do we want? The answer is, of course, if we're doing 100 websites, we want 100 templates, things like that. So let's take a look at what that's like. I'm going to show you this one, and I'm just going to refresh it. This is not under our control. This is totally a different website. No coding connection to them whatsoever, but I'm going to show you what's going on. So this is a really nice template. If I go scrolling down, see how it kind of fills in stuff and just see how professional this looks all the way around, right? And just everything here, and images pop up. We've got this kind of thing with videos that can play. We can incorporate that easily. We've got a cool tool here that we could use if we want for identifying items on a page, things like that, inside an image. All of this is doable. And doable. What I mean is it's just a really nice website, and it's got everything that you could want, for standard websites like this. Okay, now that you've seen it, okay, that's the front end of the website. Let's talk about what it takes to convert it to our system. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to step into our admin panel. Okay, we're going to go to our themes. We're going to go to custom themes. All right, like we already have system themes. It's these guys here. System themes, okay? We've already had those, but let's talk about custom themes, all right? Because we're moving into this new era and our themes have to be modern. All right, so we don't have any custom themes, okay? And if I look at the front page of the website, okay, and just refresh it real quick, it just looks like this. It's an old style theme, that's dated and doesn't have all the functionality we want. Okay, well, let's talk about what it would take to get something new to happen. Say I wanted this theme. This used to take a long time, like a week to make this theme, and we might charge $750 to convert that theme to our system so it works with all things. If we wanted it to work with all of these theme settings, we have to knit the pieces together one little step at a time. Every little piece that has some sort of heading or subheading or description, we have to use our global variables. That has to work for every single field. This used to be really, really hard, right? Well, I just copied the URL of this website I have zero control over. And I'm going to go to templates. I'm going to go to custom themes. And I'm going to create one. I'm going to paste it right in here. We're going to analyze it. Okay, it's an HTML website. We found the sections. There's a header, navigation, banner, about us, services, pre-footer, footer, testimonials. All these sections are in the page. Okay, it's suggesting a name for us. Let's just say this. If we're going to go creating like 100, this might be the first one. So let's generate this theme. And that's what it's doing. It's extrapolating and converting the code to something we can use inside our system. And you'll see what I mean in a minute, because if you look at the original template, It says stuff like best roofing services and consulting, right? And then it's got this stuff about that. And that makes sense, but it's not about us at all. It's, whatever was on the template when they made the template, right? Nothing weird about that. Well, keep in mind we're in the back, and we're talking about first converting this so that it operates with everything in our admin panel. And then because it's modern, we can use our control center to be able to control all these new websites. But then we've been talking about where we're going next. So I'm just walking you through this so you can see this progression and understand the value when you realize not just have we modernized the back-end coding, but we can apply it to front-end websites of our choosing. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of these things. There are tons of sites that have this. All right, so wait a minute. Is it done? Pretty close. I'm going to activate it. Then I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to convert it to dynamic. Now, as you can imagine, we've been building the pieces. Of course, we'll automatically connect these steps because they have to happen in this order. It's these steps in this order, no other choice. So we'll get that done. Oh, it's converted. The finishing touches of the conversion. So now, if I were to go to the front page and refresh it, it's going to look broken. Why? Because there's one last little step. I'm just kind of like showing you on purpose, right? Let's generate the HTML. Done. Generating the HTML pages. So let's refresh again. Oh, take a look at this. Here we go. And it says Premium Dallas Roofing Solutions and Repairs. The other one didn't say anything about Dallas. It said Best Roofing Services and Consulting. How do we get Premium Dallas Roofing Solutions and Repairs? Because it is using our details. Premium Dallas being a global variable. It doesn't have to be Dallas. It could be Chicago or Denver or Atlantic City. Roofing Solutions and Repairs. Premium City Roofing Solutions and Repairs, Certified Crews Warranties. I mean, we can put whatever we want into the template, right? So it will just, the point is it's reading from our back end, right? So all of this site is set up for us to manage. Now it's got locksmith images in it because it was the last set we had active in the system. The images, I don't know how many of you are keeping up with the latest image generation functionality, but I'll show you something right now. Hold on. Not only can we create completely professional images exactly the way we want, like for instance, if we say show roofing, newly installed roofs with this kind of tile or that kind of shingle or a metal roof or whatever it is, but show it on a Dallas residential home that's 3,500 square feet in a residential neighborhood, include some of the background of the neighborhood. Be aware of the flora and fauna, the type of grass, the type of flowers, the type of trees, the type of shrubbery. So when you make the images, you make them realistic to the region. That way, if we do it for a neighborhood outside of Chicago, or if we do it for a neighborhood in Winter Garden, Florida, or anywhere, then we're going to wind up with geographies and houses that look right for the region. So not only do we do the images by the thousands now, take a look at this. And this, funny thing, this isn't even the latest version. This is the predecessor. This is a drone flyby professional shot. This is a video. Okay, watch this. Look at that. Not only does this house not exist and the trees not exist for this, I think it was an Orlando home, okay? But the level of detail and quality you saw was on a roof that was never installed, okay? It's a drone flyby highlighting the quality of a newly installed roof on this 3,500 square foot home in a neighborhood somewhere. But we can do these all day long. We can create the video inserts, the images. We can do more. And so we can make these sites incredible for the companies that want them, right? So I just wanted you to see that. What have I got now? I want to point out a couple more things before I'm done with this video. There's so much to show. It's insane. All right. Okay, so as you know, by converting it to our system, everything works. All the different modules, blogs, contact us, a sidebar, images, gallery, testimonials, videos, a pop-up modal, an exit pop-up, all these things, integrations, different softwares like Calendly, the call to action button, join us live for the webinar, live chat, Moment CRM, newsletters, payment gateways, Stack Hunter, all these things are set up inside the template system already, inside our admin panel. Now, that's so we can control this website efficiently, right? And let me see about images real quick. Let me see if I can show you something that's interesting to see. Not that was fun, but different. Okay, take a look at this. Open image, just to show you. Look at the quality of this image, right? Like in Dallas. And just the quality is to die for, right? The detail, level of detail is unbelievable. This is what we're doing now automatically. And every image is run off a different prompt. So they're all astounding. Okay, every one of them. Nothing fails. Not according, I mean, we can still manually review, but nothing fails. Okay, where do I want to go from here? A couple more points. One is our control system. You guys know, some of you guys know, there's like 87 tools in here that we use to control thousands of web pages across hundreds of websites. Okay, literally tens of thousands of pages we can control at once, hundreds of thousands, where we can do anything we want with these websites. Okay, and we can update, fix, change, improve, add, flip things on or off, whatever we want to do. Okay, put in code snippets. You know, we can run SQL queries, adding new functions into all the databases. Everything is done remotely across all those websites, right? Now that's astounding. Now you guys recognize this as the Digital Command Control Center, Control Panel, DCCP. Now we're on to something new. So not only do we have a website that looks and acts awesome, but we have perfect control over it in the back end with all the tools that we have. But not only that, but we can remotely control hundreds of those websites at once, page by page by page by page by page. And we can check things. We can check that they all have enough SEO. They all have at least one H1 tag and no more. They all have at least 4 or 5 H2 tags on the page. That they all have a minimum number of words spread through the paragraphs. You know, page by page. So we can get an output report in Excel. 100 websites times 100 pages is 10,000 rows. And that's with all the columns of the, is this on? Yes. Is that off? No. Did this get updated? Yes. Has that been done yet? No. And we can sort the columns and see what's missing so we can go fix them without having to go look at the web pages and check the source code for sampling. We can literally know exactly whether every page has been attended to properly. Now, that's cool. We took it further, right? Again, we're doing all of this on behalf of companies. We created automation. And the automation allows us to run every one of these tools in sets, in logical sets. So there's like not as many independent scenarios here as there are the 87 steps here, but they're all being attended to in these groups. You know, they're just being run in logical orders, right? And it comes down to bulk domain purchasing according to rules. You know why? Because by connecting all this stuff up, AI can run it. I can make a phone call very, very soon. I mean, all the functionality is done. All the coding is done. Everything is done. Now we're just tying together logic, steps, and figuring out how the AI manager works and how it controls our websites. But all the pieces are done. I haven't even gone over them all yet. I've just gone over this piece. I've got to explain more. I'll do it in a different video to tie a bigger picture together. But check it out. I can say, hey, I need you to go find and buy 50 domain names from GoDaddy that are all wrapped around roofing in the Chicago area. So include up to 10 of the surrounding towns, or 14, however many are there within a 50-mile radius or whatever it is we want to say, a 20-mile radius. And create it in such a way that we're focused on the quality of our roofing services for each of those towns, because then we're going to create projects for each of the towns independently so that we can be a big player in each town with one or more websites in that town. Now, guess what? I can hang up. And it will know, and I'll say that it'll ask me, what is the max purchase price per domain? $15. I don't want it to find a $4,000 domain and just buy it. And I'll say, what's the max budget? It'll even confirm $15 max times 50 domains, right? So then that's $750 max that it can spend, right? Yes. You know what? It's going to go create its initial list, go check which ones are available, buy the ones that are available, and then whatever it can't buy, it'll go back and loop, figure out more good names, good quality names, according to my protocol, whatever it is I really use as a standard that it reads from. Because when I talk to this guy, he's got a knowledge base he goes and looks up that I already uploaded and tweaked and refined for perfection, so that he knows what his job is, or she knows what her job is. You can choose whether you want your assistants to be male or female. And whether you want them to be younger or middle-aged or older. I mean, whatever you like to work with, you can do that. And it will go through however many loops necessary to satisfy the job. No more than 50. And guess what it does next? It creates the cPanels on the server. And then because of all these templates we made, it'll run through the template selection and upload a different one to each of those panels. And then it can follow our rules to start creating contents for all those websites and creating pages, doing everything that we want it to do. Anything that's in our system that we want it to do, it can do. Okay? Update the front pages, create additional pages, go back and create the images throughout the pages according to the rules we specify, like how many images max per page and so on. And the images need to match the sections that they belong to, and so on. All of this from a phone call. Now, it goes a lot further, right? Not only does it create the websites, but it does competitor research, say bi-weekly. It's up to us, but we might say every other week. Go check out what we're ranking for, what we're not, how our competitors are doing, and find out what they're talking about that we're failing to talk about, and decide if we talk about those topics but not enough. Go look those topics up in our sitemap. If you see them, check the pages, see if we're missing that content, append, add to the page. For topics that we never got into at all, create new pages. So literally every 2 weeks, the system does all that work on its own. Okay, no human involvement. We don't even need to ask it to do it. We can call and say, hey, do me a favor and run a competitor check and update the sites. So I could do it off the schedule if I want, manually, but I don't need to. Now, not only that, but when we create these websites, they can create a random assortment of social media accounts from the main list of media accounts that we allow it, like Facebook, Instagram, X.com, anything we want, to allow it to have the choice to link to, because every website should have a bunch of these regular big names and be posting to them. What's it going to post? Well, every time it creates a new page about some very important topic, it can put out a social media post going, hey, this, we just wrote this great page about this great topic. Come read it, click here. And that link will go to that page on that website. So not only are we creating the pages, we're creating the social media posts that point at the pages. What else? AI live chat agents go on the pages and we mass control them. So we can create 100 websites and then instantly create 100 AI live chat agents that belong to each website and use variables for each website, even if everything else about the website's the same. And we can train the AI live chat agents on a set of documents that represent the underlying business, but the variables indicate how the AI presents itself on each website. How's that for crazy? And what else? We can use the different phone numbers for the websites. They can point at the phone number for the company, or better yet, AI can handle those upfront calls and decide when to pass the calls through to other AI agents that do particular things that the person was asking for, or pass them through to humans, depending on what they're asked for. You remember the old IVRs would say, for support, press 1. For sales, press 2. Well, what's that mean? That might mean for support, press 1. And you'll go to an AI agent that's extremely well trained over the business so that you can communicate with it. And if it cannot help you, it can pass you through to a human. Okay, this relieves the burden of work on the human, all the elbow grease work. But for sales, press 2. That can go straight to a human if you want, because maybe you want the humans to handle those sales calls, right? Very directly. Up to you. Now, everything can be handled. If you're doing that kind of thing with forwarding phone numbers, that creates an actual written transcript of every call. So guess what the written transcripts can be used for? To train AI. So the live sales calls, whether they fail or go well, create a stack of calls that are fed into an AI to immediately learn from and compare to your knowledge base. So now it knows all about your business and all about how you should and shouldn't pitch it. And so you can have AI start to take over for you. You can start testing it, role-playing with it. Cool thing is we build our AI agents so that you can literally update their training over the phone. Notice how I keep talking about everything over the phone. Any idea why? Because that's what company owners want. That's what upper management wants. That's what techs want when they're in the field and they need to deal with non-humans. They got an answer about something. They got a question about something they're doing. They would love to call the training department back at their company and ask it, hey, how do I handle this particular situation? And the training company is AI telling them how to handle it. And only if AI cannot do that does it escalate that to a human or have a human call the guy back or whatever it is. And it can send the notes to the human. What else can these agents do? They can create invoices, like on a PDF, according to the knowledge base rules for the company, and attach them to an email that they write, where the email welcomes the guy for his visit to the website. Thank you for your visit. Thank you for trusting us. Attaches your invoice. As we discussed, it covers bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Looking forward to hearing from you. And then if we don't get a response, it can reach back out in a few days. Whatever. According to the rules of the knowledge base. What else can it do? It can create estimates. It can create invoices. It can lay out products and services. It can explain things that people ask about. It can send emails about anything. But it can also do a web search. I can call and say, hey, how do you spell this domain name again? Is it plural or singular? I forget. And it can go look and tell you over the phone. If a lawyer asks a paralegal a question about case law and said, hey, I remember this case in this county. How did that go? Did the guy win or lose? It can look it up and tell him over the phone. It could also send him an email with a bunch of answers. Hey, look up all the case law in this county and give me a list of everything that went right, went wrong, and any reasons why that you can see, or just what the summary verdict was in each case. And it'll be in the mail in a few minutes with no errors, unlike humans, who would have taken a day or two and had errors in order to create that email and send it to the guy. Now what? So we can save tons of money, tons of time, tons of errors, all three, for companies by letting them use their agents any way they want. What else can it do? It can do deep research. Hey, give me a competitor report for my new client on his or her website in this city, in this industry. They do all these things, but they don't do these things. So look up how they compare to their competitors. Give me all the data about A, B, C, D, and E based on the stuff we like to look for. It's in the knowledge base. You don't have to tell it. It knows. It will check. And give me that report, or send that report directly to my client. Use our email template, use our logo, our company name as the source of the competitor report, as it says in the knowledge base file. Again, I'm not having to explain this. Thank you. So you're driving down the road, you get an order, a guy paid you to do a competitor report for them, $400. You call the job in and explain whatever came in for that job that you would normally ask for. Or the AI agent took that data, allowed the transaction, helped the guy make it. When the transaction was confirmed, the AI verified that and sent the job details on to your other agent who does all that work. You didn't even need to be involved in the call. Okay? Companies badly want this kind of thing. Why do companies, let me come back to this, why the phone? Because otherwise, if you're driving around, making your deals, meeting with people, shaking hands, being on a plane, if you have to go make a change to something, if you role play with your assistant and they make a mistake and you're like, no, you can't say that, you got to say this other thing. Well, does that mean that you need to go pull out your laptop, connect to Wi-Fi, pay the fee on the airplane to get into the wireless, fight to get connected properly, and then try to remember your dumb password, which you may or may not have packed and have to look up. And then you finally get into the area where you can start to read the prompt and figure out how to manipulate it to make it better. Wouldn't it just be nicer if you could train your employees over the phone the way you train humans? There's passwords. You get to use a password. So you might be role-playing with your assistant, and you might want to say, no, don't say it that way. Well, not everyone can just do that. I mean, they can do it on the call. They can say, don't call me Bob, my name's John, but whatever. But what if you want to train the assistant? What if you want to say, hey, we're offering 10% off this week only? Remember that. Thank you. Well, you use your password to train it. Your password could be anything that you know that nobody else would know. Oscar Mayer wieners beat Mott's applesauce. Oh, okay, that's the password. We recognize that. What notes do you want to give us? I want you to know that this week we're offering 10% off on any bundled order that somebody makes for $2,500 or above. Everything else below $2,500 stays the same. Do you have that? Yes? Okay, resume the program. And it was trained. Now, I didn't have to go anywhere. I just called I could be driving down the street and train my agent right over the phone. Make new requests over the phone. You know what we also made it possible to do? Ask for another agent to be built. And it'll give you a checklist. What do you want for your agent? Is it male or female? What's its tone supposed to be? What's its main job? How's it supposed to handle people calling it? What kind of people will it expect? External people like clients or internal people like employees? What's it do? What's the scope? What tools does it need to have access to? Well, all that stuff's in the back end anyway, so it will have access to it all. Thank you very much. And guess what? It's going to go set that agent up. It can even create a new phone number for that agent. And it can even make that phone number an area code preference of yours. Whether if you want the phone number to be in Chicago for a new subsidiary that you're opening over there. Okay. What else? You can have your agents code things for you. You can call and request it to write a program, write some software that's of benefit to you or somebody else in the company, or does some summaries in Excel to tell you the best sellers or worst sellers on which days and come up with reasons why it thinks that's true. Look at the weather if it has to, like if you're selling more ice cream and less hot coffee, check the weather. with those hotter days or colder days. I mean, whatever, right? That way it can actually give you insights that you can action. You can make things cheaper on the right days to really attract the masses. All of this is happening in front of your faces and mine. All the stuff that we've been so silently building in the background that has to do with why we quit talking about just setting up leads and start talking about what we can do to help companies out. Outsourcing an AI department, companies need them badly, and they need the functionalities to be there for everything they want. And we've been quietly building that. And that is basically done. All of the hardcore programming is done. We are only down to just improvements as we go. Little things that make it better. So it is time for release. We are finally able to start cold calling, voicemail dropping, and emailing businesses at large with demos that they can come and check out. They can come and ask for a competitor report to be sent to their email address and see how it looks. They can ask, hey, I want you to be a paralegal, and I'm the lawyer, and we're in San Francisco County, and we work with DUI, and we work with kids who are underage, and I need you to look up all the case law that has to do with the how the cases went for underage drivers who had underage passengers in the car, who hit something, caused bodily harm to somebody else, or the passenger in the car, so on. I want you to explain how that went and highlight which cases the kids did have insurance and which they didn't on the car, etc. Right? So I can understand the trends and what to expect if I take my new client, who's an underage guy with DUI, to court, right? What should I do best to defend them? Do the research and send me the report. Now, we're setting up these demos so that people can see just how powerful they are. We can put limits on how many demos anyone's allowed to make. But even more interestingly, the demos are only going to be demos. They're not going to have a knowledge base attached, right? If the guys want to get going for real, they need to actually attach to the service, become a client, start paying. And when they're paying monthly, that being the whole point for all of us, is what we all want. Then they can do things like upload a knowledge base. They can refine it and improve it and upload it. They can even call and say, hey, I got a new knowledge base update going for you. Here's the name of the file. Go deal with it. Make sure you're fully updated. Because guess what else it can do? It can go to your Google Drive file, find files, attach them to your emails depending on which file is the best fit. Or whatever your knowledge base says. If people ask for this, attach that PDF. But if they ask for that other thing, attach this XLSX document. If they ask for this other thing, attach that image and that PDF. When you respond to them, always be polite, address them by the first name, thank them for their visit or thank them for their support or whatever it is. If they're a prospect, if they're a client, if they're asking for this, if they're asking for that, write the cover letter, so to speak. And it'll be done independently for each case, right? How's that for crazy? And then even if somebody asks a question on a live chat agent on website 112 of their empire of sites, and they've never heard the question before, then protocols followed in the knowledge base. Do I pass this through to a human? Do I tell the caller, hi, I'm going to hang up now, but have a human call you back? Have Tom call you back about this. He's the expert. And Tom will happen to be a human or another AI. Just whatever you want. When going through this kind of thing, with all these functions, in the coding functions, accessing Drive files, accessing Slack, creating new files and uploading them into your Google Drive folder, notifying you if something's a problem or if there's a high potential client or whatever in your Slack channel, whatever. And it can literally set up appointments and let you know to call these guys back so we can fill in all your responses for you and stuff. We can set these up for cold calling, for customer support, for agents that just do specific things that the people hate doing or create errors when they do them. We can have it go into accounting, look through your financial data, whatever you upload in the Drive file, it's allowed to figure out. That's a personal drive file for each guy who signs up. They get all the stuff automatically, by the way. Then they're able to call in and follow the checklist to create their own agents with their own purposes, according to their subscription, how many agents they get and what those agents get to do, what they have rights to, how much material they get to use. But it's all good. It creates a tremendous amount of power for companies, including making websites automatically, without even having to know the domain names they want to buy, right? Because then, yeah, they're given a purchase order for domain names if we're running it through us or it's running through their GoDaddy account. I mean, all this stuff is easy now. We can do it all now. And so, yeah, we can do the work for them or just give them the tools and show them easily how to do the work for themselves. And so depending on their subscriptions, you know, they're getting access to tools or access to tools and pre-made solutions, which actually everyone gets when they sign up. But then beyond pre-made solutions, there's custom work that we could do for them manually. We could hop on with them and build something they need with them, with their agents, just to make sure it's done right, or if they're nervous about it or don't want to ask their AI to do it, they want us to build it, and then just hand it to them on a silver platter so now they can use it, right? All this is finally happening. So we're going to release and improve, add functions, add features, add functions, add features as we go. And it'll just be covered by their subscription. So they'll just have new access, new tools, new things they can do. Finally, we're there. All right. Just letting you know. This took a long time, but it's worth it. We can do all the email marketing for companies, B2B. We can cold call for companies, B2B. We can set up their scripts with them, help them create cold callers, help them create, like I said, customer support, invoice creators, estimate creators, finance, reviewers, coders, any other stuff they need to do. And then they can just call their assistants and literally use the password to make them better on the phone. And they can make new agents on the phone. They can just call it in. Hey, I need a new agent that does this. Yeah, I want it to have this style, this name, have this function, act like this. It should be, it'll normally do A, B, and C, and then D. All right. And have you got all that? Great. Okay. The area code. Yeah, thank you. The area code will be for the Atlantic City area. All right. Click. And guess what? All that stuff will get set up in the next minute. And they'll be able to call their new agent and start role-playing with it, see if it's operating just the way they thought, use their password to make adjustments to it, and have it send emails, do deep research, do web searches, whatever. Create files and put them in their Drive file form. Hey, I need you to create me a PDF based on our knowledge base for roof replacement, what the costs are, the different tiles we use, different things we do, how long it takes for us to get out to you, what an estimate is like, what's covered with the roof replacement, when it applies and when it doesn't, whether we go out into the boondocks to do this for you or not. Just create everything nicely in this totally professional PDF and put it in the Drive file and give it this name, Roof Restoration by Roofs R Us.pdf. And then that way, it's available, and whenever people request for information on roof restoration, you can ask for their email address, send them the PDF, compose the email, thank them for their visit, explain that we're very competitive with our pricing, we have fast turnaround, we have availability when they need us, we work on weekends, and they can call us back. And then, of course, log that. If they don't, in the next 2 to 3 days, we're going to call them again. Which you don't need to explain because that kind of protocol will be in your knowledge base, or you will add it as an afterthought and put it up there so that you don't have to explain it every time, right? All right, so it's nuts where we are and what we can do. And I just wanted to let you guys know we're finally there. This is cool, man. Took forever, but it's absolutely awesome. All right, talk to you soon.